Hey, what's up guys, this is Cody, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the movie that you guys saw me unbox yesterday in that package that got sent to me from the director, Billy Pon. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. But yeah, he sent me this DVD as well as a couple of lobby cards and a poster for his new film, Circus of the Dead, which is coming out, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. But the movie I'm going to be reviewing is his first film, and that is Doll Boy. And as I showed off, it is signed, and it is signed by Billy and personalized to me. And I really do love that cover, and I really love the back of this DVD as well. But like I said, this is the directional debut of Billy Pon, and it's actually a short movie. It's only about 27 minutes long, and I didn't think it was a short film. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give a brief description of the movie, and I'll tell you guys what I thought about it. Now, as I've said, it's an independent movie, so it's a pretty low budget film. But I really do enjoy the opening of the opening scene of it. Basically, you see an old rundown yellow van driving through the streets of this town. You don't see who's driving, but you know that he's wearing white gloves. At one point, he opens up a small little toy lunchbox that actually has a picture of a doll on it that looks similar to the doll mask that is used in this movie. And he takes out I think I don't know what he takes out, but he takes something out of there. And he ends up pulling up to this really old building, this really old rundown building. And on the door to the building, there's it just says hi on it. It's like written in paint. It just says hi with a little smiley face, which is pretty creepy. And he ends up getting out of the van, and when he pulls open the sliding door to the van, there's about 6 or 7 people tied up. They got their hands tied, and they got tape on their mouths, and they're all just tied up in the back. You find out that the driver of the van is actually a clown, and he proceeds to take everyone out and basically throw them into this old rundown building. After he does that, there's this little girl sitting in the van who's just crying because one of the people that were thrown into the building was her mother. And the clown just sort of stops there and smiles at her and just waves. And then he slams the door, and then that's when the title of the movie comes up. So, from the point the movie begins, you're already feeling uncomfortable. You really don't know what to expect. You don't know why the people are tied up. You don't know how they're involved with the guy driving the van. You don't even know if they even know each other. But as the movie goes on, one of the characters ends up finding a lighter, and he ends up using the lighter to cut everyone's all the rope out off of everybody's hands, and you find out that they all do know each other. There's a brother and sister named Raul and Angie. Those are there's 2 characters there. There's also this girl named Venus, and there's just quite a few people, and you can kind of tell that they know each other somehow. Either they work together, or that they just know each other. There's one character in the film, I forget his name, but he's a complete douchebag. Right after he gets the tape ripped off of his mouth, he starts to complain that he can't find his watch, and he's a real douche to everybody. He's like, "Where's my watch, man? That watch costs a lot of money and stuff." And you can really tell that he's really full of himself, and he just doesn't care about anyone else there. And he just doesn't care about it. He just doesn't really care about anybody other than his watch, and is trying to get out of there. At one point, they do find a little trunk that has like a bunch of old cans of soup and cans of beans, just random stuff like that. They do find a couple of flashlights, and so they all end up getting the flashlights and all begin to go off on their own. They basically split up, and that's when the doll boy makes an appearance, and as you can see, that's him right here. And he basically, at the beginning of the movie, he uses a hammer to smash this girl right into the face, and they are all then being chased by him throughout this old building. Now the doll boy, he's this bigger guy, and he's really tall as well. He's taller than everybody there, and so he looks very, very menacing. He wears suspenders and this white shirt with this tie. And, he just looks like this really big guy. He's also bald. But the creepiest thing about him is that he's wearing this doll mask, which is just, like I said, it's just, it's white. It just got that really creepy expression. And it's just, he just looks like this big, bulky guy with this hammer with a mask. And he's just really creepy character. But as they all split up and they all get knocked off one by one, they each start going into different rooms and they start finding different things. Like you find out he has a bunch of old toys laying around. You find out he has different dolls and puppets everywhere. At one point, the character Raul and his sister, Raul actually finds out that it's actually it's an old Mexican flea market where they're at. And he's trying to remember, them being there as kids, him and his sister being there as kids, and he's starting to find out, and he tries to find, where the exit is. At one point, they start going on different rooms, and he starts remembering, what the rooms were, and he ends up finding this old little puppet stage thing, and he starts saying, he remembers that was his favorite thing about it. And he ends up going in there and he's messing around with his sister Angie with the different puppets. There's one puppet that looks like a clown, one puppet that looks like a hobo. Then he picks up another clown. Then he picks up another puppet, and you find out it's a skeleton of a dead little kid, and that of course, freaks him out. But yeah, so that's basically the entire story, in a nutshell. So. I thought I would go ahead and talk a bit about what I thought about it. Now, like I said, there's a lot of characters in this movie, so for the most part, the acting is pretty good. There's some older characters. There's also a teenager in this movie as well that ends up getting lost with the guy that lost his watch, and the guy he treats the guy like crap basically throughout the entire movie. You can tell he just doesn't, like he calls the kid a faggot at one point. The kid, he looks like about 16 or 17, I'd say, and he's telling him that he's a faggot, and that's how he got his job. I'm not sure exactly what job, they were all working on because it's not explained, but you can tell it's just a complete douchebag throughout the entire movie. So the acting for the most part is pretty good. The set design is really good in this whole movie. There's so many things, in every single room there's something new. Like at one point, there's a scene where you see the doll boy alone, and he has a big screen playing, and he's playing an old Mickey Mouse cartoon. And, there's different small little toys and dolls just sitting around everywhere. It's a really creepy feeling. And one of the characters is there, and the doll boy ends up finding her, but so yeah, the whole set design just looks really, really cool. Like I said, they're in this old abandoned flea market, like an indoor flea market. At one point, a girl's walking, and there's these this little child's shoes from these ropes hanging around. Like how sometimes some people will put like ropes from or strings on their doors, and they'll have like something on them go around, kind of like how hippies sometimes do. I've seen hippies do that. There's something like that. Only they're little child shoes and stuff. There is actually a little kid that runs around with this Frankenstein mask, but he has a Frankenstein mask on backwards, so when you see him running away, you can see the Frankenstein face, and it's just kind of there. He only shows up for about a second, but it's just pretty creepy. The gore in it is pretty good. Of course, all practical effects. When somebody gets hit in the head with a hammer, there's this big splotch on their head, and it's really bloody, and they start coughing up blood. So the gore in it is pretty good. There's not tons and tons of gore in this movie, but it still looks pretty good. But all in all, I definitely recommend Dollboy to anybody who's a fan of independent horror. It's like I said, it's really good, atmospheric. You can really tell that these characters are just trapped in this old building and they have absolutely no way of getting out. It's really dark, of course, so they have no idea, where they're at, where they're stepping on, where they're going. Of course, the doll boy, he always comes out a bit. There's no jump scares in this movie. There's maybe one or two, but other than that, it's just the doll boy just being really menacing and basically stalking these people down and then smashing them in the head with a hammer, and that's pretty much the purpose of the movie. So I would definitely recommend Dollboy to anybody who's a fan of independent horror. Also, if you're not, if you're more into mainstream stuff, then I still recommend giving this a try. It's only 27 minutes, so even if you don't like it, you're not wasting your time or a lot of time on it. But yeah, I really recommend checking this one out. It's great atmosphere, really, really creepy. Got some good gore and good acting. Just a good film all around. But if you're interested in picking this up, I will leave a link down below to Billy Pond's website where you can pick it up. He goes under name Bloody Bill for Bloody Bill Productions. So I'll leave a link down below where you can pick the movie up on DVD. You can also pick up the poster and the lobby cards, and they're all pretty good prices. This DVD is only about $8 on his website, so yeah, you're not spending a lot, and it's a really decent movie. And you can also get, like I said, posters and some other stuff from the film, as well as a poster for his new movie coming out, Circus of the Dead, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. Actually, at the beginning of the DVD, there's these two trailers for his up-and-coming movies, Circus of the Dead and Mr. Fister, and they're done in a sort of a grindhouse way. Like at the beginning of it, it says, preview of coming attractions. And I thought it was funny, preview is actually spelled wrong. It's like Prevue or something like that. I just thought it was funny how that they spelled preview wrong in the beginning, but it looks like an old grindhouse. The two trailers look like two grindhouse feelings, and that's how the DVD opens. The movie doesn't look grindhousey at all, but I just liked how the two trailers were done in that sort of way. But like I said, if you're interested in it, I'll leave a link down below where you can pick it up. And yeah, so that was my review for Dollboy. Hope everyone enjoys it. I'll probably be doing a review of Wolf Creek 2 coming up. I just picked that up this weekend. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone next time.